Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bears on Tap, podcast about the Chicago Bears, presented to you by On Tap Sportsnet. I'm your host, Brandon Suarez. You can follow me on Twitter at Bdon300, and you can follow my co-host, Quinten, at ButtKissStats. Today, we are going to be previewing this weekend's game against the Miami Dolphins. We're back at Soldier Field. Got some new offensive and defensive weapons, and I think it's a team that I know they have a high-powered offense, but they're prone to a stinker every now and then. So I think we have a better chance than everyone thinks that we do going into this one. But before we get into all of it, let me check in with my co-host, Quentin, because it's been a while since we talked.
Yeah, I'm doing good. The Bears one-game winning streak ended, so I shaved my beard in solidarity of it.
Yeah, and I mean, rough. Just a weird few weeks to be a Bears fan, right? A couple of players leave, a couple key players leave in Roquan Smith and in Robert Quinn. But I think we should just get it out the way early because obviously we weren't on for the shows earlier in the week, the emergency ones. But I just think you kind of knew Roquan was going to get traded, right? And it was just time because the deadline was happening and you were able to recoup a draft pick. You were able to use that draft pick to get a new receiver, and you also got like a replacement that may give you some productivity. We don't know. Like, I know he's done stuff around the league, but it's not going to be to the same level that we got from Roquan. But I think the main message that's been sent by the team in the last few weeks is that Justin Fields is the guy. Because if Justin Fields wasn't the guy, they don't double down on trades and make the trade for Chase Claypool. So a lot going on. We just haven't had a chance to talk about it, so I just want to get your input.
Yeah, I was actually pretty surprised by the Roquan trade. I did not think that was going to happen. I'm good with it. Like, I like everything they did here, but I figured that they would probably tag Roquan and move on. Now, the more I've heard about, if he's tagged, he's gang tagged like an edge rusher. That makes a lot of sense as to why they would pull the trigger now. But ultimately, I mean, from where I'm sitting, I see a change of mentality at Hallis Hall of the old standard of defense over everything. And this is the way that Chicago Bears do stuff. We care so much about our linebackers and our D linemen. And we need to get this thing up to the 21st century. We need to get some investment in receivers here for our young quarterback who's showing a lot of promise. And the thing that really just got me fired up was this feels to me like a giant vote of confidence in Justin Fields. Like they gave him shit and said, make me a good meal. And he started doing it. And they got him some help, and I'm ecstatic about that. And I love Chase Claypool. I mean, I know he's had a rough year or two year and a half in Pittsburgh, but when you're looking at their games, like I just watched the Dolphins game against the Steelers from 2 weeks ago. He's getting open. He's getting chances to make plays. I think he had 97 yards in that game. Like, he adds a giant element to this offense, and I don't know if it'll show through this week because who knows how much of the playbook he'll even have down. But just the fact that he's going to come in here and build that chemistry this year so next year they can hit the ground running from day one is huge to me. And I'm excited about it. There's only so many guys in the world who are 6'4" and can run a 4.4.
Yeah, and I don't think you were with On Tap yet when he was coming out in the draft process, but obviously, I've had Irish on tap for 3 or 4 seasons now, and I'm about as big of a Notre Dame fan as you'll find. So coming into his career in the NFL, between wow, I was about to say Komet Pool, but between Claypool and Komet, I wanted us to get one, and now I'm sitting here 2.5 years later, and we have both. This is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that bringing Claypool into this offense helps Komet get better. I know that those things don't directly correlate, and that's like a super meatball take, but they played so well together at Notre Dame, and I really am just excited to get Chase Claypool in this offense. And I'm not even just excited because I'm a huge Notre Dame and Claypool fan. I'm excited for my quarterback, who has looked phenomenal over the last few weeks, where the narrative has completely flipped. everybody is talking about Justin Fields. He's like, I saw a stat on Twitter, I think it was yesterday. He went from the 31st ranked quarterback through a certain amount of time in fantasy to 2. And I know you weren't on the post game, but like last week, bro, I still loved what I saw. I know we got smoked. That's fine.
Yeah.
This year, we knew we weren't going to be a Super Bowl contending team. But when you see Justin Fields go out there and play the way he's played the last few weeks, and then now we add another receiver to the mix. You add N'Keal Harry back. He's been out with injury. He's played about 2 games, but you can anticipate he'll have a more ramped up role, obviously, as he gets healthier. But I'm just really excited to see what the future kind of holds. I know it's weird for us as Bears fans because we're cursed in the sense that when we have a good offense, we don't have a good defense. When we have a good defense, we don't have a good offense. I'm not saying we have either right now, but we definitely lost a lot of pieces on the defense. And now with all those draft picks, they're going to probably have to be pretty evenly split up between positions like wide receiver, O-line, attacking the second level of the defense, the linebackers and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what Ryan Poles does, but it looks like he has full reign to do whatever the hell he wants. And I know at first, like when the Roquan trade happened, my head was about to explode. That day outside of Roquan was already like one of the worst days of my life. So I was just like sick. Lose my favorite linebacker. Like, what the hell is going on? Hallis Hall is burning down. But to see what he was able to do, and I know he ended up it was our draft pick that he traded, right?
Yeah, unfortunately. But
it is what it is. We still have a second round draft pick, and I know the Ravens will probably win their division, but I don't think they'll win 10 or more games. I think 10 is the ceiling for them. So we'll find a way. If Poles is good at what he does in the draft, it shouldn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I like all that, but we roll into another high-powered offense, an offense in Tyreek Hill, an offense that has Jalen Waddle, an offense that has seen Tua look pretty damn good this year at some points. I won't say at all points, but good enough. And they add some new pieces on the defense and a new running back. They get Jeff Wilson on trade deadline day, and they add Bradley Chubb on the defensive line, and they extended him already. They gave him a 5-year deal, right? Like, he just landed off the plane to a new check from the Dolphins. So crazy, crazy stuff going around during this trade deadline time. But what are your thoughts on everything that's going on?
I mean, I didn't realize they already extended him.
Yeah, they just extended him this morning. I saw it on the bottom line. It was like 5 years, a lot of money, more money than I'll ever make in my life.
So I just want to point something out real quick, that Zach Wilson played the Patriots last week. So the Patriots had Justin Fields and Zach Wilson right after. So, very similar situation for the Patriots, probably very similar injury-wise, like same players on the field. We saw what Fields did against that defense. He shredded them, right? And then Zach Wilson, 3 interceptions, under 50% completion percentage. Like, that's a very good defense that he shredded the Patriots. And then Cowboys, I think, are probably the most talented defense in the NFL.
From a skill position, like aspect.
Yeah, from a talent on the field standpoint, I think they are the most talented defense in the NFL. And he, again, put 61 points against 2 of the top 10 defenses in the NFL. I'm having to slap myself from disbelief a lot lately because of it. I'm just sitting over here smacking myself in the face like it's real. It's real.
Good though, because this is what we wanted coming into this season, right? Like last year we were, and even at the early points of this year, like we had a couple wins under our belt, so it didn't hurt as much, but we didn't really see anything from Fields. And then just like, I wouldn't say out of nowhere, but just like that, he turned the page and he's been playing really well lately. And I mean, I know Claypool probably won't have like a huge role in the offense this week, but just to add another guy in the stable, I'm excited to see what he'll be able to do. And then on top of that, you add the running aspect into it. Last year we saw, Fields scared to run, not really trying to use his legs, and all sorts of stuff that just didn't bode well for him as the runner. This year he has grown as a passer and as a runner. Last week against the Cowboys, we were prone to some drops. We had some plays that didn't really go his way, but it's looking good. And hopefully they can build around him, because we didn't really build greatly around Mitch. Like, I know they added a couple guys. You had some people on the receiving core throughout the years, but other than that, this offense has been pretty stagnant since the Cutler era. And even then, like towards the end of the Cutler era, it kind of died out. We haven't really seen a high-powered offense. So to even have that thought that we could see some consistency and maybe see a team that averages 24 or 27 points in a whole season, put a defense on the other side of the ball, and now we're talking.
Yeah, I mean, it always comes back to me when you have a top tier quarterback, you're always in the game.
Always.
I mean, Bears were in the halfway through the third quarter, down by 5 against the Cowboys last week. You know, they probably had no business being in that game as far as the talent on the field goes, except for the quarterback position, and it's the ultimate equalizer.
Yeah, and I think too, we haven't touched on it yet, but in the wake of all the people leaving the team, losing 2 captains, 2 of your best players, throw Khalil Mack at the beginning of the year, 3 of them. Eddie Jackson is now elevated to a captain. So all you Eddie Jackson haters that have hated on Eddie Jackson for years, you can pound sand because Eddie has earned it on the field. That pick against the Cowboys on Dak right before the half, like talk about what a great play on the ball.
Need a guy to go make a play.
Yeah.
And I think he goes and makes a play.
And I think we've seen Eddie mature a lot as a player as his career has gone on. And it would have almost been criminal to name anyone else on that team a captain other than Eddie Jackson. So I'm happy with that. I'm sure you're just as ecstatic as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been sitting over here banging the table for 3 years that Eddie Jackson's still amazing. So, I was kind of a little dismayed that he wasn't a captain to begin with. But, I mean, it's clear that he has taken Jaquan Brisker under his wing and tried to help him every way he can, because you can see it in Brisker's play. You can see some of the little things he's doing that's just like that. He's thinking kind of like Eddie.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, Brisker, I mean, he's going to be up for some rookie awards, I think. Is there a rookie defensive player of the year?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
I think he usually goes to an edge rusher, though.
He'll have his name in the conversation, at least, because the way he's playing out of his mind. And I know, you're listening to Bears on Tap. You're going to get a little bit of Bdon bias, especially on a week that we add another Notre Dame stud to our team. But if you don't want the bias, you know where to find the tune-out button, but we hope that you stay regardless. But Joey just came in the chat, and he said Eddie's making every local sports station and writer look like an idiot. Very much so. I think that, we are a tough town on our athletes, and I think that in a year like this, you see them almost chasing people out. Like right after everything happened with Quinn, they were on Roquan's heels, and then a week later he's gone. So I think in a way we have a fresh slate of players, right? Like we've talked about this on the season where 63% of the players on our roster are new players. So I think with a new culture being brought in, Eberflus has been phenomenal up to this point. I've loved everything that we've gotten from Flus. Getsy's, I'm starting to turn the corner on. He's starting to call better plays. The players are executing at a higher level. And I just think that at the very least, we're not going to make the playoffs, but nobody wants to play us, right? Like, because you don't know what you're going to get from Justin Fields. You might get a game where Fields, drops a dud like he has in the past, or you might get a game where Fields has 29 and you got to find a way to score more than that. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone wants to play us. We're Charlie Kelly and Always Sunny in Philadelphia right now, just a wild card.
Yeah, and that's a phenomenal show. Philadelphia's in hell right now as the Phillies. I saw the score before we started was 2-1. But on a side note, I saw that they were being so mean to Mattress Mac, and I'm like, I think they might lose every game from here on out. Like, just screaming in like an 85-year-old man's face. So, not ideal situation, but yeah, Philly, not a great city from a sports fan perspective. We're a little bit better than them, a little bit nicer. But again, we still do the heckling, and I hope the fans are nasty out there on Thursday, or not Thursday. This is Thursday, on Sunday. But I think if you break down this team with the Dolphins, right, they're going to try and hit you with the deep ball. They're going to try and hit you wherever they can, really, because they have 2 of the premier receivers in this league. And arguably right now, the best duo for a receiver duo in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, so they're gonna start off the game with a lot of RPOs. That's how they get Tua in rhythm. He's very good at RPOs. It's kind of his comfort zone, and it's just what they use to get him feeling right out there. You can't build a whole offense around RPOs. You'll get sniffed out soon enough. I think they kind of tried that a year or two ago, but they have two outstanding receivers. I mean, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are terrifying to go up against, and they cover up a lot of flaws out there. I mean, Tua
and ground too. I thought you were about to say ground. They cover up so much ground.
They do cover a lot of ground. I mean, really, you play press against these guys, they're gonna torch you. Like if you play press man against them, they just separate too easily. They're gonna have you leaning one way, and all it takes is one step, and they're gone. Like it's gonna be a real challenge for our secondary. Really, so when I was watching the tape on it, Tua, like he's very, very savvy quarterback. He's gonna pull out some no-look throws on you and stuff. Like a lot of it's very impressive from a mental standpoint for him and from an accuracy standpoint until he hits 15 yards or more downfield. That's what I noticed. And then the overthrows, the underthrows, like
the wobbles, the duckies.
Yeah, it's just the ball is not where it needs to be. Some of it's his footwork. I noticed on a few plays, gets out of whack. He has such a quick release. Sometimes his feet don't catch up to it. And I think sometimes it's just like he sees it and he's like, if he's a split second late, he rushes it and then the ball comes out, a foot in front or a foot behind the receiver, which is enough to make a difference, enough to get a chance at an interception. I was honestly shocked when I was watching the Steelers tape against the Dolphins, how many interceptable passes there were.
Dude, that was
right in the middle of the field.
Stinky.
And maybe that was just a terrible game for him. And I can't use one game to completely paint a picture for a guy, but I only have so much time in a day. Like I used some tape from the Ravens game too, which looked a lot better. But some of these balls were just, I mean, he almost put a few of his receivers in the hospital at times too.
And that Ravens game should be held with a grain of salt because up to this point in the season, they have not been a good secondary. And I think that Steelers game, right? Like, dude, they only scored 16 points, right? 13 of those came in the first 7 minutes of the game, and then they just died.
Yeah, they might have scored 20. I think they got another touchdown late, but
no. I know they only, or maybe they did, but I know they only.
Or maybe it was 19. I want to say it was 19.
I know they only won by what's it called? By 6, because I had Steelers +7, and I declared it dead.
I'll trust you on it. I wasn't on the all 22. You don't get the score; you're just getting the plays. So
we can call. I don't watch as much all 22, but I do watch a lot of football games just for what they're worth. And I don't know. I was sitting there, and I'm like, I'm waiting to die, right? Like I'm like this.
You're right. It was 16-10.
Yes, they didn't score any points.
Right.
0-0 in the second half.
-7. That's right.
I'm sorry. I honestly, I didn't deserve to win that bet. But watching that second half, knowing that we played the Dolphins, I'm like, look, dude, they should have gashed them. They should have stepped on their throat. And I think if you look last week too, they played the Lions last week. They're down 14-0 early to the Lions. Yeah. They were down 14-10 at a couple different points in that game. And obviously they were able to fight back and win that game because the Lions will always lion, but I'm expecting a shootout. I don't ever touch a total in a Bears game. I am considering betting the over this week. Talk me off the ledge.
So I have a terrible, terrible record of betting Bears overs, but it's my favorite bet of the week. And when I bet it, it usually is, and it usually goes bad for me. But
we're hitting it. What's the number? I don't even know what it is. I think it's like 43.
I got it at 44. I think it's gone up to 45. Yeah, 45 and a half now.
I still don't think it matters. I still think it gets up there.
you're looking at the Bears defense. They just traded two of their best players, right? That's got to have some impact in the Dolphins scoring.
Young
And
secondary.
the Dolphins defense is one of the worst against the pass in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like they all the metrics point to them being a bottom 10 defense against the pass. They can stop the run pretty well, but
And they
even
were a
that,
really
like
good defense a few seasons ago. Remember, like 2 years ago, top unit.
Brian Flores ain't there anymore.
Yeah, this is true, and that's their fault. Bad people.
Like how good their run defense is a little bit concerning with how run heavy the Bears are, but also a lot of the Bears run is predicated around the threat of the QB, which is a little bit different. Like the Ravens didn't have a major issue against them scoring points, you know?
Yeah. I think that game was like 43-40. That game was,
Yeah.
if I had to say like one of the most fun games to watch of this NFL season, that one was right up there. And that was like one of those, that was maybe the game that we're all sitting here as NFL fans that just, on Sunday we'll have Red Zone on or we're watching these games. That was the game where I was like, shit, dude, Tua might actually do something this year. And obviously he has the weapons, way better weapons than he's ever had. We haven't talked about Gesicki. Gesicki's been scoring touchdowns quite often this year. And then on the running front, you add Jeff Wilson to it.
And they already got Mostert, who's playing just fine as well.
They are the San Francisco 49ers Jr. And they have a quarterback that can run that type of offense, those RPOs, those, so.
I mean, their offense is a lot of fun to watch. Like that, some of the stuff they do schematically is really cool. But
they have Mike McDaniel. We talked about that, man.
The Dolphins are the prime example of how much scheme and top shelf skill talent can help a quarterback. Like, I mean, Tua's strengths are mental and it's decision making, and it's it's not the extreme athletic gifts that we typically look at with guys. So that maybe that enhances it a little bit more as far as like getting the right scheme and skill guys around him. But like they are just like who is buying Tua this time a year ago?
Dude, I mean, just don't do yourself a favor and type at Bdon 300 and Tua. Just go. I'm asking our fans to not do me that dirty. But yeah, and we haven't talked about this, but there was someone found my Valus clip when he got drafted and like clipped it. They clipped it, just that portion, and put it under one of my tweets. So they say you don't make it till you got a couple haters. But we got Jack.
All publicity is good, right?
Yeah, all publicity is good publicity. But we got Jack here in the comment section. He said Fields is my QB in Dynasty Fantasy. So for those of you that don't know, that's a team that you carry over throughout the years. So feeling pretty good right now about him, and as you should. I hope I hope you sometimes use your bias when picking players. I did the same thing, but not with Fields. I had Claypool on my Dynasty, and I'm actually that was the highlight of my day. I had a very boring day, I'll say, and I went to check my fantasy lineups, obviously, because there's a game tonight, and I'm like, wait a second, I still got Chase Claypool. Let's ride. So definitely a good find right there on your lineup. Joey came in and he said, sorry, my allergies are killing me right now. Joey said, I'm terrified of this matchup. Need Travis to pull out the albatross wingspan. So Travis, I thought he said Tevin. So Travis is not on the injury report. For some reason, I thought he said Tevin. Tevin is on the injury report, but Travis, let's talk about Travis, man, right? This is a guy that was already ascending to a bigger role on that defense. He was becoming more of a leader. He was being a leader not only vocally, but the way he was playing the game on the field. And now, as much as we would want to say it, he's one of the more veteran players on that defense. It's a young defense, and it's a guy that's been there for about 3 seasons. And now we're going to need some more from him out there every Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, this is his, audition to be a starter next year. What he does the rest of this year is going to determine whether he is just a rotational guy or a guy that they're counting on. And I hope to see him, make some plays out there. I'm interested to see it too, because I mean, we've never seen him when he's not across from Khalil Mack or Robert Quinn. It's a different game when you're the number one edge rusher.
Yeah, so he's going to get more attention now, too. He's got to think about that. But
Yeah.
then, too, it opens stuff up for guys like Dominique Robinson. He's played pretty well this year. I'm excited to see where he'll go. But we have more comments in here. So we got Jack. She's got a couple. So he says they're finally getting Fields some help. Yes, they are. And he's a Colts fan. So we welcome fans of all teams, especially our friends right over the I don't know what road it is over there, but that border, it's not too far. I mean, I live in the
Cubs fans are always
country.
welcome to watch our
See?
show.
Yep, but a Cubs fan loves the On Tap channel, and if the Phillies win the World Series, it's a de facto World Series for the Cubs because the Cubs beat the Phillies 6 times. So make sure when you're done,
and because Kyle Schwarber,
too. Yes, I didn't even think about it like that.
Which I say while I'm holding back the tears that he's no longer a Cub, but
yes. Former Kane County Cougar legend, my team as well, a team that I work for. So, yeah, I hate to see that guy wearing a different colored pinstripes, but we got a funny one here from Joey. This is a not safe for work one on tap after dark. But he said, "I'm upset we couldn't see Laramie Tunsil and Mike McDaniel doing gas masks together. I'm upset we're not doing gas masks together right now, brother, because you're not on the show right now." And
there's no phones allowed in the green room.
Mike McDaniel, I always see his media like week in and week out, and he's just the coolest dude in the room. Like he's always just so calm, so relaxed. He seems like a great head coach to play for. And, coming from the Niners, seeing what the Niners kind of turn into when everyone counts them out, it's like, right, the Niners will go 9-7, but that doesn't matter. As long as they have a seat at the table, the Niners are probably going to upset a couple people in the playoffs. I don't know. Mike McDaniel is one of those new wave like boy genius coaches, right? Like one of those it guys that the NFL is claiming. And I hope he doesn't call one of those it games. I hope I hope it starts out just how it did last week for them. I hope we find an early points and have an early lead and could try and prevent them from battling back. I'm sure that is not how it's going to go, but I still think that this is a game that it's going to be give and take, right? It's not going to be a game that we're going to be hard pressed to find points. This could be another week that we love my favorite bet on the board, the Bears over 1.5 touchdowns, because as long as they keep posting that at even money, it's usually a fair bet. But I think that it's a game that we could win, dude. I'm not afraid of the Miami Dolphins because at the end of the day, Tua is still Tua, and if we could somehow find a way to limit the damage from their receivers, it's anybody's game.
Yeah. You're right. That's a big if on limiting the damage from their receivers because they are
big if, yes.
I've waxed poetic already. They are very talented. But really, I think at the least Bears lose a close game. That's a shootout here. I really think this is gonna be a fun game to watch. And at the high end of my hopes, and I don't know, I need to be careful saying this because I don't know if the Bears defense has the talent that Eberflus has had in the past. But Eberflus built a bit of a reputation as a D coordinator for being a guy who knows how to really throw off the boy genius play callers, knows how to really disrupt what they're trying to do and knows how to game plan for it. When he was in Indy as a D coordinator, and even, we've seen a little bit of that this year. Like he knows how to prepare a team to go into a situation that they are not favored in. And I'm hopeful that he does that against McDaniels, that maybe he's because we've yet to see Mike McDaniel really hit the point that you see with every of these young boy genius coaches of, well, they figured you out. So what are you going to do now? How are you going to answer? I almost wonder if Eberflus has I think he has the coaching chops to be a coach that does that to someone, as long as he has enough talent to do it. and that's what will be interesting to see on the defensive side of the Bears for me.
And you can only run the fuck at Tyreek's down there play sometimes. You can't run it every time. So they use a good amount of receivers, though. There's a couple other guys that make plays on that offense. And, when you got guys like River Craycraft scoring touchdowns, which I'm convinced isn't a real human being, you got to keep an eye. And then, too, think about it like this. Like, we just talked about Mike McDaniel being that boy genius. Just because he has Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, man, doesn't mean he's not drawing up those same plays for other guys. So it's a week that we have to have that awareness like on point. We have to know where everybody's at on the field. And unfortunately, like you said at the beginning of the show, even in situations where it's beneficial for us to be man, it is not beneficial for us to be in man, because all it takes is for Tyreek Hill to slip right behind you, and you're looking at him hold up the deuces and he's running down the sideline. And yeah, I don't know. I think fun game to watch, shootout potential, a game that could turn out to be, a one possession game, or a game that whoever has the ball last ends up winning. But I think it's another measuring stick game, right, for Justin Fields against one of these other young first round or up and coming quarterbacks, because the word on the town is if the draft was redrafted, right, everybody's picking Justin Fields as their number one guy. So so fast the narrative changes, and so fast everybody changes their mind. But Justin Fields has arrived in a big way, and I think that it's another game that he could add under his belt, because he's beaten all the guys from his class, right? He's beaten Wilson, he's beaten Mills, he's beaten Jones, like all three this season. Beat Trey Lance. Yeah. I didn't even think about Trey Lance. Trey Lance too. He's smoking everyone in his class. Oh no, he hasn't beaten Zach Wilson, but he has a chance.
So did Tua and Fields ever play each other in college?
I have to look that up.
They were only drafted, a year apart? But
it would have been in the college football playoff. I'll look up college football playoff games. I honestly think they may have. Let's see. So no. He played Mac. He played Mac in the Natty, remember? Because he took down Clemson.
Yeah, the year before Clemson beat them. So Fields was at Georgia his freshman year and played Bama. But
that shit don't count.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Honestly, it's kind of surprising when you look at Miami's receiving core. They only have one guy with over 100 yards this year, not named Gesicki, Waddle, or Tyreek Hill. And that's Trent Sherfield, who has like 160 yards.
Excuse me, say that name again.
Trent Sherfield.
Add him to the list of players on the Dolphins that are in no way, shape, or form a real human being.
Well, what's weird is they went and paid Cedric Wilson a big contract this offseason. He has like 4 catches on the year.
Yeah.
So I wanted the Bears to get Cedric Wilson. I'm like, I don't know what's going on there.
He was from the Chiefs, right? Or
Cowboys.
The Cowboys?
Yeah.
Okay. I knew it was one of the C teams, but yeah, I don't know. They got a couple new Wilsons. Defensively, all right, so what scares you about them on the defense? Because I know they got some good corners, right? They have quality corners, but they haven't put together
honestly,
really great defensive performance.
Xavier Howard hasn't had a good year. I think they really miss.
Are those your sirens and not mine?
Those are mine. Yeah.
Wow. Unbelievable. Usually
they're always going up and down my street, man. It's constant.
Serenades with the siren, yeah.
So they have like a 5th round guy or something that they're starting who's looking good. I forget his name, but Xavier Howard's had a rough year. I mean, he's still a good player, so you never know, but like he's not been good so far this year. I think they're really missing Brian Flores.
Don't they have Byron Jones now too?
They had him. I think he's
they got rid of him. Yeah.
Did they get rid of him?
He's not on. I just pulled up their depth chart right now. They added mostly on the D line, so they have Wilkins, Jalen Phillips. Remember Jalen Phillips from Miami, Javon Holland at safety, Melvin Ingram at linebacker. So they have some pieces. Not a terrible defense.
I mean, their D line didn't scare me too much from a pass rush perspective. I mean, Jalen Phillips is good, and Melvin Ingram is solid as a rotational guy still.
Yeah.
But he's not an every snap guy anymore. Adding Bradley Chubb to that throws a giant wild card in it because he could make their D line really good all of a sudden. But we'll see. Andrew Van Ginkel's a guy there who I love, outside linebacker. He plays some edge rush, he plays some stand up, but as far as the pass rush goes, nothing on the tape really jumped out to me other than Jalen Phillips here or there. Their D line is really good against the run, though. Like they stuff up lanes.
Well, Wilkins is a big boy in the middle, dude. He is a tank.
Yeah. Really, I mean, what the only thing that scares me on their pass defense is Xavier Howard has a bounce back game after being rough so far this season, and Javon Holland is a very, very good safety, very versatile. But the thing that's really so their coverages are very predictable. Like if you're on first down, you're either seeing cover 3 or cover 1. Most of the time it's cover 3. At least against the Steelers, it was mostly cover 3, which became like very even rookie Kenny Pickett was seeing it and was starting to chew them up with it, with underneath stuff straight to the sticks, where they're threatening vertical, receivers threatening vertical, then cutting back and leaving the guy in the dust because he's worried about blowing his deep third. And then on second down, you get more of a mix. Cover 3, cover 2, typically, usually cover 3, but they do mix some cover 2 in there, cover 2 man. And then this is the one that really I don't understand. They were, for the first 3 quarters of the game against Pittsburgh, it was cover 1 every third down. Everyone, like you knew you could beat them because they were going to be in cover 1 and you needed to just dial up a man beater. And it was like, they weren't that good. Yeah.
A Chase Claypool.
Yeah. Well, Claypool's number was called a lot on third
busy,
down.
Yeah.
And there were 2 home run balls that didn't get thrown to him that were there. I mean,
it's those small hands, dude.
Yeah. Hey, Kenny Pickett's hands are bigger than a lot of things. Okay.
Probably these hands. I know you can't see them. Bad visual, but
like a quarter. They're much bigger than a quarter.
Yeah.
But so it was just really, I was really surprised at how predictable their coverages were. And I know that when Flores was still there, that they get knocked for always running man like on second and long, third down. But I feel like his variations and his disguises were probably better. And he was probably better at the chess match than what they're doing right now, because what they were doing against Pittsburgh, it felt so much like you could see it. And there wasn't a lot of disguise until the fourth quarter when they were leading and they were just trying to, mess up the rookie quarterback.
Yeah,
that was when they started disguising more stuff and throwing like cover 1 looks where they drop into cover 2, and they threw a quarters concept out there at one point, but it didn't happen until the fourth quarter. It was just surprising to me. It makes me really think that the Bears if Justin Fields can stay clean, they'll score some points. Like if they're running cover 1 on third long, Fields will tear them up with his legs alone.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was just about to say, dude. Kenny Pickett was running on them pretty easily. I know Kenny Pickett.
Well, until they started spying them. That was one adjustment they made. They started spying almost every play, I feel like, in the fourth quarter, because he picked up a few first downs with his legs.
But I will say,
a spy is only so good on Justin Fields because the guy you're spying him with isn't faster than him. Like with Kenny Pickett, he's probably faster than, but.
And you have to worry about with Pickett the fake slide.
Yeah.
You remember that one? Fake slide. So.
Oh yeah.
All right. So I don't know. I think we match up pretty well with them defensively. I think this is a game too that, like, dude, fuck it, ball out on special teams. We're going to need to find turnovers in this game if we want to win this game, because, I mean, we're coming off a week that we gave up 49 points. They're coming off a week that they scored 42 points, I think, or they scored 30-something points. I don't know exactly how much. They scored a lot. I know they scored a lot. And something's got to give, but I still like our chances to stay in this one and keep it close. I think the line is like 4 or 5 right now. I haven't really looked too far ahead, but I think
The
this is
thing
a game
that
where they could cover. I don't know if they'll win it. I'm gonna change my mind in about 10 minutes, but definitely a bettable number for them. I think.
the thing that starts to worry me with them, especially, and I think it's something that we saw in that Ravens game in week 2. It becomes a shootout. They have the advantage because your defense is running a lot. They're playing a lot of plays, and a tired Tyreek Hill is way faster than a tired defensive back.
Yeah.
A fresh one is, maybe they might be able to keep up, but a tired one who might make a mental error here or there, Tyreek Hill's going to torch.
Yeah, and I think
Like, it doesn't matter who you are. It's Tyreek Hill.
yeah. Yeah, I saw a video of him earlier today and he's putting butter on his hands and catching it out of a jugs machine. He also put syrup on his hands and caught it out of a jugs machine. I think it probably
The syrup's
yeah, the
that's kind of
syrup.
like stick up. I don't know
Yeah.
about that one.
I don't know about the syrup, but when he did the butter, I was like, okay, that's pretty impressive. But yeah,
We need the Darnell Mooney video of buttered hands on
butter
the jugs
hands.
machine.
This is a game that our friend here, Jack, I would hope that you start Justin Fields in because I think that he has a nice boomer bust potential. And I think, like, keep the good times rolling, right? Like, let's not tone down this offense. I know it might be a little
Yeah,
toned down to
if
try and control the clock and control the time of possession, but let's still take our shots when they're there, you know?
if you have Justin Fields in fantasy, do not sit him because they're projecting him 11 points. Just
Yeah, I didn't even
ignore
look at that.
projections. They're trash. They don't.
Yeah.
They're still accounting for the first 3 weeks of the season into his score, and those are kind of irrelevant at this point.
Yeah, I got to look and see because I'm sure the books are still disrespecting him too because
Yeah,
He
we're
hit
seeing
his-
the same thing with
he hit
his
his-
like yardage over
hit his
unders
yard-
and stuff. Like,
yards he hit again last week. I
yeah,
had one where I got a little greedy and I did the alts, but he hit his regular number. And for his numbers this week, they still won't bump him to 1.5, but they did bump his yards up. He's at 172.5. So I don't know, 14.5 completions. I might be all over that. And
yeah. That just depends on how much they run. Because like last week they only threw the ball like 23 times or something.
yeah. Yeah, and they bumped him up to 50. So they're starting to kind of catch on there. He's starting to get a little respect. He's getting talked about on the talk shows. The people are putting him on the graphics near the top, if not at the top. I did see one that they included Ian Book in, and I'm like, oh, God. Like, son of a bitch. Like, I thought he was just done. But he's an Eagle now. He's an undefeated quarterback in this league. So,
Yeah.
just
One thing that they'll have to do this week that has not been familiar for them is pass on early downs.
Yeah.
Like when they're giving you soft cushion cover 3 looks and just saying take the 10 yards, but we know you can't run on us very well. Like you need to take the 10 yards, this 5 to 10 yards, like that you're going to have that cushion when they're running cover 3 on first down, and they're going to make it tough to run on them. So the Bears haven't passed on early downs very much this year, but they're going to need to.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we'll try to strike early. I don't hate us going up early. The Dolphins are
Hey, we threw a go ball to Velus Jones right away last week. I mean, I don't think it's that much of a surprise that they might try something. I wouldn't be shocked if it's a go ball to Mooney or Claypool.
I was gonna say first play of the game, just get Claypool's first catch right out the way. Like,
yeah.
he's
He's only going to have X amount of plays that he's going to know. Like,
that's a play that you don't have to really. You could show up like Christian McCaffrey did on whenever day he showed up for the Niners and run that play, as long as you got shoulder pads and a helmet.
Honestly, it's an unscouted look too. Like it's not going to be on film, even if the play being run the way it is with Claypool at the number 2 or number 1 wide receiver.
Well, and he just played him
with
2
Claypool
weeks ago.
and Mooney together is going to be different.
Yeah, and they just played him 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Think about that. So
and he had 97 yards.
Some familiarity. And then, too, now teams can't key in on Darnell Mooney, which is something that we haven't talked about yet. But Darnell Mooney's really been putting together some good performances the last few weeks. keep an eye on him to get even better now that he has more players in his offense that people have to key in on, you know?
Over the last 5 weeks, he's pacing 1,150 yards for a full season. Like the first 3 weeks were rough, but he's come around now.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with him in fantasy. I started playing him after the Patriots game, and it's looked good. But the projections still say he sucks.
Yeah, no, projections still say he sucks. Everyone on our team sucks. We're just the worst team in the NFL. But we are up to like 25 in the power ranking, so trending in the right direction. But in the comments, Scott wants to know Burrow or Fields. This is not Bengals on tap. This is Bears on tap. Justin Fields forever, baby.
Unbiasedly, I'd start Fields. Burrow doesn't have Jamar Chase.
Yep.
Fields is playing one of the worst passing defenses in the NFL. I don't remember who the Bengals got this week, but
They couldn't block us. Joey said Burrow, bounce back, you're wrong. And then Joey also said, just have Claypool run 30 go routes this week. I don't hate it. Put the ball in the air. He's the biggest receiver on the field.
You run verticals with Claypool and Mooney every play. I can see how it might work.
Yeah. Yeah. So going into this one, who do you have as your key players on offense and defense, and what do you have for a score prediction?
I mean, on offense, it's a cop out. I hate picking Fields here because it's like just obvious, but it's Fields. I mean, he needs to win as a passer in this game. Win some with his legs, that's fine, but this is a bottom tier pass defense. He needs to air the ball out, and his receivers need to catch it for him.
Yeah.
Unlike last week. On defense, I'm going Eddie. He's going to have some chances. Like Tua is going to give you a few chances, and Eddie needs to capitalize on them.
A very emotional game, too, for Eddie, losing Roquan.
Yeah.
So he's going to play with a chip on his shoulder.
And he's from Miami.
Yeah. Well, we do have it at home, but yeah, he probably did grow up a Dolphins fan, I would assume.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
What would you say? What'd you say for score?
Let's see, I'm trying to think what I put in my article. I think I had Bears 31, Dolphins 28. The model said the opposite, I think, but it was like I want to say it was actually, I think my most accurate model I think had Bears winning by like 4 in the 30s.
Ooh, sorry, I tried to get on mute for that. I'm dying over here, but yeah, it's good to have you back on the right side of things. It's been a while since I've had you predict the Bears win on the show. But I'm gonna go even more meatball for my prediction. So I know it's early. I know it is literally his first week as a Chicago Bear. But given the performance Chase had a few weeks ago against the Dolphins, given the element of the unknown, which right now with our offense, there is a lot of elements of unknown, but I won't put a number on it, but I expect Chase Claypool to make a number of impact plays on offense. He's a threat with the end around, and we've also seen him throw a pass from the end around this year. So keep that in mind. Maybe they'll throw him in on a couple trick plays. I know that might be a little bit harder to get him ready for, but a very versatile guy and a guy that gave the Dolphins hell just a few weeks ago, and a guy that is hungry with a new quarterback, a quarterback that, in our eyes, is better than Kenny Pickett. And I know the guy that played there before we're a little tied to, and now Chase will be wearing his number here in Chicago. But
Claypool played great with Mitch.
Yeah,
Kenny Pickett and George Pickens are playing well together, and Mitch and Claypool were playing well together. I kept bouncing back and forth between like Claypool and Pickens in fantasy, depending on who was starting at quarterback, because I knew Mitch would hit a big body, go up and get it guy. And I knew Pickett had the like rookie mini camp and better chemistry probably with Pickens. So it was like I was just going back and forth over and over as they were going in and out.
Yeah. And then on defense, this is going to shake everything up, right? I'm going to go with Kyler Gordon. I know, I have not been the biggest fan of Kyler Gordon. Another name that you probably shouldn't name search at Bdon 300, but listen, man, anytime you play a premier position like cornerback or receiver, where you are required to go man-to-man or mano-a-mano, maybe not necessarily man-to-man, but one-on-one with a guy like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, going up against those type of guys are the games that you absolutely have to get up for. And I know it's his rookie season, but I'm looking for Kyler Gordon to bring one down on Tua. He doesn't have to pick off Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. He just has to pick off Tua. And I think that there's going to be some learning experiences for our young players in the secondary, but I also think there's going to be great spots for growth. And I'm looking for Kyler to bring one down this weekend with an over aggressive Tua, who I still think is a grilled piece of salmon. But
it'll be interesting to see how much nickel the Bears are forced into, because like just thinking it through, I didn't think about this till just now. Dolphins clearly don't use slot receiver very much if their number 3 leading receiver only has 160 yards through 8 games. So I wonder how much we see of Vildor in this game. And at that point, who are you putting on Tyreek, and who are you putting on Waddle in your ideal matchup, like your ideal plays?
I would put so I would put Gordon on. I'd put him on Waddle, okay? So maybe I was a little ahead of myself with Tyreek. But it's going to switch. It's not going to be them always
Yeah. I mean, the offense dictates the matchup.
Yeah. But I would like Jalen to be on Tyreek just because Jalen's our number one guy. But there's going to be plays where Kyler's going to have to cover Tyreek, and that's going to cause him to have to grow up real fast as an NFL cornerback,
Yeah. See, I'm actually I'm in between. I almost think I'd rather have, because Jalen's not a burner, and he doesn't have that freak twitchy athleticism that Kyler does. And I almost think, as much as I'd probably regret it on a double move or something, I'd almost rather have Kyler on Tyreek, just because I know he has a better chance of recovering from something than Jalen does. As much as I love Jalen, I mean, I think Jalen Johnson is an absolute monster, but
he's a cornerstone of the
he's never going to win a foot race with Tyreek Hill.
Oh, no shot. Yeah, and then for score prediction, shootout, I'll be betting the over. I never bet the over, so naturally this will be a 17-13 game. Same with Quinten. We never bet the over.
We're going to get 6 red zone turnovers. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a big total guy. I usually just like to pick a side, and I'll die with the side. It's fine. But that side 17 times a year is the Bears, and it didn't work out last week. I think a little bit more in our favor this week. I think we're live dogs.
I stand by. If that Micah Parsons fumble return for touchdown doesn't happen, the Bears cover.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because at that point I was just like, all right, we're not going to win the game. Just don't kill me with players that I'm going against in fantasy. And luckily I didn't go against like Pollard or anyone big.
Yeah.
And let me hit another slip. Let me get a little slip. Because I actually I am the biggest anomaly in all of like the people that we have that put out picks, right? Because I do research, right? But I'm a meatball in the same sense. So it's like Saturday, 7-2-1, just crush. Sunday, I'm 0-4 before I get to work or before we're done recording. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here, dude? So yeah,
it was last week. I was almost perfect in college. I was like 8-1. And then on Sunday, I was like 1-6. And I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, they giveth and they taketh. And then my final dagger, one that just hurt me, and I guess it's fine because he's actually my quarterback, and I'd be devastated if he got hurt just chasing 23 yards, was I just keep placing Justin Fields only parlays. Just everything that is on the book that is offered to me from Justin Fields is worked into a Justin Fields like $5 parlay, which is like a cup of coffee at this point. And it's like they've hit like 2 out of 3 weeks. So I'm just going to keep riding the train until it stops. I'm with my guy, Jack, here in the chat. Start Justin Fields this week. I don't know what to say about our running backs because I have Herbert on my bench, and I'm like, the week that I start him is the week that we remember we have David Montgomery, and then when I keep him on the bench is when he hits, huge games. So I just keep him on the bench as a shiny toy because I know I will mess up the zen that they have going on in the backfield, and it's a good balance, I think, right now.
I don't know if Herbert's going to be losing snaps anytime soon. Let me put it that way.
No shot. Joey came in and said 34-30. I think I actually did like the biggest no in broadcasting where I said a whole bunch of shit and I actually didn't say anything because I did not give a score prediction. But like I said, shootout, hammering the over. And I will be taking Bears 34, Dolphins 31. I think we get a couple kicks from Cairo. I think there's still an opportunity for us to get 3 or 4 touchdowns in this game, but in no way in hell are we going to just absolutely shut down this Miami Dolphins offense. Like, points will be scored. There will be times where we're face palming in our family rooms or at the bar, wherever we're watching our game. Like, wow, that dude is wide open. But trust the process and let's find a way to win a football game, man. We got to, because we got to get back on another 1-game winning streak.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Eberflus' game plan for this offense. I think it's going to be fun.
And did the Colts play the Dolphins last year? I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not sure, but I don't know how much it would matter just because the Dolphins were completely
totally
different offense.
Yeah, so totally different. They did play last year. Eberflus won.
So Eberflus has he has hurt Shanahan before. I know that.
Yeah. So, yeah, because remember that game last year, that Colts-Niners game on, what was it? God, it was like a Thursday night or a Monday night. It was a rain game. It was in Santa Clara. Yeah, that was an ugly game. Frank Reich's coach for his job right now, too, I think. But, yeah, as far as it goes for us, I think the coaching has been on the up.
I mean, like, he held Josh Allen and the Bills to 15 last year with the Colts one game. Like, that was the point where everyone started saying, wait, started questioning Dable. But then he bounced back later. But held the Patriots and then impressive. Held Cliff to 16 points right after Cliff. You know, they were coming off that hot start. Or not Cliff, held Kyler. But I default to Cliff.
Call of Duty must have
Texas
came out.
Tech, Wreckham.
Yeah.
Held San Fran to 18. Like, he has a history going up against some good offensive minds and coming out on top. It's one of the reasons I loved him for a head coaching gig.
Yeah, no. He's I think he embraces just like what we want as our head coach as Chicago guys. So
yeah.
And I know the people actually from Chicago will have my head because I don't live anywhere near Chicago, but that's just the blanket term that we use as Bears fans because we're all still angry little Midwesterners. Probably, well, I speak for myself because I'm sure you're over 6 feet tall, but I'm like 5'7", just a literal like meatball mini. And yeah, I don't care. I got us winning this game. It's an important game for me, man. It's the first game in 15 years that I don't got my little guy watching it alongside. So lost my puppy this week, and I'm hoping they can find a way to win one. It's going to be a tough one for me to watch because, like, just this last Sunday, sitting there feeding them sandwiches and shit while we're watching the game. So it's a tough one for me, but I think overall it's an opportunity for the Bears to go out there, put their best foot forward. You're going up against a premier offense in the league. Nobody really cares, okay, I won't say nobody really cares what we do on defense, but we have tampered expectations knowing what we're going up against on defense. So I think it's just find a way to survive in advance and continue to answer them on offense, and hopefully we have a chance to win this one late.
Yeah. Win one for Benzo, man.
Got to win one for my little guy, little Benzo. I got his jersey hanging on the wall above the TV. Yeah, I'll probably be a pool of emotions on Sunday. I'm lucky that we have so many good speakers and just people that are knowledgeable on the team. Because, I mean, the 2 days that we ran shows earlier in the week, there was a 0 to less than 0% chance I was going to even be able to get on camera. But yeah, it's a big game for me, this household. It's a big game for Justin Fields and this offense. And I mean, fuck it, we got some shiny new toys. And then also, too, one final note that we didn't talk about. Give me your thoughts on AJ Klein, because we vowed to not talk too much about the trades and all that stuff at the beginning, but we did not give AJ Klein his bouquet of flowers, because he is not a bad linebacker in this league.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest here. I know the name. I've not dug into him at all.
Came over from the Bill. He was on the Bills before, right? Like, pretty sure he was.
Yeah, he's bounced around a few places, I think, but Yeah, I don't know enough about him to speak on it, and I've been, just so busy trying to get this Dolphins content out that I just haven't even had the chance to think about it.
So he is a 31-year-old. So we have a player on our team that is older than Davis Jones. That is confirmed. But yeah, he was with the Bills, the Giants, the Ravens. Yeah, he's kind of just been a journeyman. He started with the Panthers. So, and when he was with the Panthers, he was with Kuechly and Thomas Davis and
Mhm.
all those guys. So he's learned from some great players in this league, and hopefully we can get his best effort out there because I know Roquan Smith probably doesn't wear that big of shoes because he's a little guy, but theoretically filling his shoes on the field are not a easy task to do for any linebacker.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure if Klein's going to be starting. I mean, I think you're going to see Sanborn and Morrow starting out there.
Okay. Jack Sanborn Mr. Build the
Yeah,
statue on the lakefront after one preseason game. I'm here to see Jack Sanborn grow a little. I'll be okay with that.
yeah.
And then just kind of have Klein be like the complimentary guy,
Probably
maybe
like
more
he'll probably
situational.
play Sam, and like I said, I don't know how much nickel we'll even see. So like it'll be interesting to see how much because Gesicki is you might want to cover Gesicki with a nickel, but that'll be interesting to see how they go about it. But
Maybe that's what Vildor's responsibility will be this week.
yeah,
Yeah, so
Vildor against a tight end, what we all want to see.
just a little guy. Just a little guy putting up a big fight, right? Like
Dude,
he's
there have
always
been
putting up a
so
big
many
fight.
times in his career where it's like, man, you played that perfectly, but it ended terribly because that guy is just so much bigger than you, including Chase Claypool against the Steelers last year. He had like three plays where Vildor was just great coverage. He was in a good spot, but it was just like other guy's too big.
Yeah. Oh fuck, man, poor Vildor. He probably showed up to practice that day like, "What's up, asshole? I know what you did
Yeah,
last year."
probably.
Chase Claypool's like doing a little TikTok at the 50-yard line. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We're winning this game. We are not losing. I have, like I said 20 minutes ago, within 10 minutes I will change my mind. We're not just covering live dogs plus 150, I believe, because +4, and let's find a way to win a football game. Do you have any final thoughts for this week's show?
That's all I got. Let's see Justin Fields make some magic happen.
Well, Joey, our live correspondent for the rest of the sports world right now, said as we're all Chicago fans here, he said Schwarber almost just tied the game, hit a rope right down the first baseline, but it was caught. So pain for anybody that's
So
rooting for Philly.
is it breaking news that Schwarber pulled the baseball?
No, absolutely not, dude. And before we turn it into Schwarber on tap, I think every home run that he has ever hit in his career, he drops down to one knee, which has to be so demoralizing for a pitcher. But
Dude, I would be all for Schwarber on tap. I think it was
Schwarber,
2 years ago. I was betting like every other game Schwarber home run, and it hit like way more than it should
way
have
more than it should.
theoretically.
Yeah.
Like I was making money on it. I love that guy.
Yeah, and just to throw a quick shameless plug, like Jack said from earlier in the chat, not necessarily a Bears fan, but we always welcome NFL fans and any of the other fans from on tap. But for our baseball takes, I'm sure those will get ramping back up soon once the season ends and winter meetings and stuff start. But make sure to check those out at Cubs and Sox on tap. Don't forget, if you're not already following us, we can be found at Bears on tap. There's always articles coming out from a slew of different writers throughout the week to get you guys prepared from every aspect for the game each week. But as always, you can find us once a week before the game and then right after kickoff to recap what's going on. For the next 2 weeks, though, like we've said in the weeks past, we're going to be going Thursday nights just because I'm a Maction guy. It's tough for me to cover too many different teams, and I cover the most beautiful conference in all of football that plays midweek games. So it is what it is, but I think we touched all our bases tonight. We all got the Bears winning except for Joey, and Joey's not present today, so that is not going on your official record when the Bears beat the Dolphins, and you are wrong. But we'll be back with you guys right about 3:15, 3:30 on Sunday afternoon. Really do appreciate you for listening. Throw Quinten a follow at Butkus Stat or at Butkus Stats. I was about to say at Butkus
And the Dolphins game preview article with the full scouting report on them should be out tomorrow. So go check it out on our website.
Oh, wow. How did you change your name? I got to change my name too. Hold on. We can't close out yet until I change my name because I am technologically challenged. Okay, hold on. I think I got this. Edit name.
Yeah,
yeah,
so
let's go.
the preview article, it's got film breakdown, it's got a ton of stats, different betting projections from my 6 different models I use. So go take a look and check it out and let me know if there's anything different you want to see in it.
We gotta win one for Benzo, man. Gotta win one for the little guy. So
Win-win for Benzo.
find me at Bdon 300, Quinten at Butkus Stats. We'll be back to you guys Sunday afternoon, and bear down.
Bear down.